Hi everyone, today I'm going to introduce you guys with our final project. So what's our project? Our web-based application Triangle is a learning and assessment tool designed for preschool students and teachers. The application has three main functions. The first function is a responsive interface, which allows children to play and interact with a triangle. Through this activity and teachers' guided instructions, children will be able to become familiar with the triangle. The second function of this application is a quiz, which is for teacher to test children's ability to discern triangle. The third function is a data visualization. Teacher need to enter the password to access the information. The first bar chart shows teachers how many children recognize triangle and how many children pick the wrong shapes. The second donut chart depicts the approximate distribution of arrow taps which could be made by children. So teacher could postulate the reasons why children chose the wrong answers. For the perspective of instructional design, our site is a learning and assessment tool. As a learning tool, our learning targets include familiarity and discernment. Student will get familiar with triangle. Student will be able to discern triangle. As, a, as an assessment tool, we focus on data collection. Create a triangle familiarity to and discernment assessment tool. Virograph collect 100 students' data and access the similarity of the wrong answer, so the teacher knows which feature of triangle that needs the special care.
So let's go to the code. We create we created a data set of shape with 7 properties, IDs, URL, and 4 features of triangle. So instead of creating the shapes with HTML, if there's a new shape, we can directly add a new object in the dataset with JavaScript. Also, we wrote a function called update chart. Here. This function is to collect the data from the quiz and visualize it on the chart below. We created a variable called data from database, which is an array of numbers representing the original value of each bar. For example, the value of the last bar is 17. And if user chooses the last shape, the value of the last bar will add 1 to 18. At first, we can't connect the shape with the bar because the ID of the shape is a string with both number and letter, but the variable data from database is an array. But finally, we use the slice method to extract the last two elements in the ID to achieve our goal. Secondly, using chart.js as a resources, we create a bar chart and a donut chart. Here is the here is the bar chart. To create a new bar chart, we first created an object in which there are two keys, type and data. The first key type is a string horizontal bar, which determines that the bars are horizontal, and the second key is data, which is an object with two keys, labels, and datasets. The first key, labels, is an array of objects. Each of the objects refers to each label of the shape, like shape 1. Here's the labels, shape 1, shape 2, shape 3. And the second key is dataset, which is an array of three objects. The first object label is a string, which shows what the bar represents. In this case, the bar represents the number of students. The second object data is a variable called data from database, and it is equal to an array of numbers, which represents the number of students who click a particular shape. And the third object is an array of code for background color.
So when we create this interactive triangle tool, we use the P5JS library. As you can see here, we first set up a canvas called My Canvas, and we determine the size of the canvas through the variable My Canvas. And then we use the function draw. As you can see, the background to 40 is how we set the canvas gray. The width and height variable contain the width and height of the display window as defined in the create canvas function. And next, the translate function allows the object to be moved to any location within the window. And the first parameter sets the x-axis offset, and then the second parameter sets a y-axis offset. In our case, the translate function is used to move the triangle to the middle of the canvas since the program starts. And the scale function is used to change the scale of the triangle. Parameters for the scale function are values specified as decimal percentages. As you can see, we use the mouse movement to control the interactivity of the triangle. The cursor position is read by computer as two numbers, the x coordinate and then the y coordinate. The variables mouse x and mouse y store the x-coordinate and y-coordinate of the cursor relative to the origin in the upper left corner of the display window. And the fill function is used to decide the color of the triangle. And the triangle function is an inbuilt function in P5JS, which is to draw a triangle in a plane. This function accepts the x-coordinate and the y-coordinate of each vertices of the triangle. So now we're going to talk about what we've learned through this project and then throughout the semester.
So for this class, I enjoyed both the design and coding process during the whole semester. For the design part, I found the short wheel is useful for helping us come up with activities to fulfill our goal. For the coding part, I prefer projects to FCC, and I learned a lot from stupid mistakes I made in projects along the way. At the beginning of the semester, I was always struggling with where to start my code. But now I know I should first make sure what I want on the page and the logic behind it, and then figure out how to achieve it by code and finally code it. For me, the last step is the most challenging and fascinating.
For me, we had a great time working in a group. It's really exciting to see the final project comes together. By understanding what the user needs, we did a lot of research on our topic, including what is the cognition level of preschool kids and what the instructor needs to access their students' performance, as well as what's the main characters of the triangle and which character can be confused. We spent considerable time on the design and the rationale behind the project. The Straws well provides us with a much clearer guidance and theoretical foundation for this project. We had a lot of fun using the P5GS library as an experiment, and it makes the whole data visualization looks delightful and interactive. It's difficult to find the desirable triangles and shapes, so we drew every element of the page. I learned a lot from FCC and Tinker this semester. Tinker is a good resource to find the useful code for our project. By doing the final project, I had more understanding of coding, instructional design, and visual design overall. I think an interactive design is a good combination of the three areas.
As a group, we spend quite a lot of time figuring out the topic we're all interested in. It is an important force of our motivation because we all love the project we're building and we can carry the project forward when we face coding and design challenges. I enjoy a lot working with P5JS library. Being able to create live interactive tools in our project excites me. And throughout the semester, I learned to create web-based learning program from the perspective of instructional design. Using the shorts wheel has helped me structuring the instructions and coming up with assessment. When I think about the learning problems that preschool children might face as they learn about triangle, such as familiarity and discernment, I learned to see the learning targets in the shorts wheel and to dissect the problem and come up with instructional solutions. I learned a lot about coding through mini projects and the final project. Although FCC and Tinker are definitely helpful for me to grasp programming concepts, having to build working programs allows me to apply the knowledge to practice.
Thanks for listening.